My first in the series, I'll keep it short, of Agora, the movie from 2009. And I've been doing research about this library of Alexandria in Egypt, and it's from a couple of thousand years ago, on average, I'd say. And so it's hard to get reliable information. Various scholars have different interpretations of what proof exists to make certain claims in what document or not. And of course, the documents must have been honestly produced, which is not what our species does. So it's kind of weird that a Christian group or organization would do a movie that they claim, let's say, it's based on all factual stuff if it's from a few thousand years ago. Like it's hard to believe people like that. So here so far, I'm not a religious person. My mind's not corrupted by supernatural thinking. So for me, they're Jewish, they're Christians and pagans as, supernatural believers or tribesmen in this story. So for me, they all sound the same. I have to pay attention to make sure I know which one is which because they all sound disconnected from reality. And here, this guy is gonna walk on fire here. So what he's doing is he's playing games of magic alongside his supernatural beliefs to convince people on his side, to build the tribe of Christianity. And so in a way, there's been time Christianity would have, let's say he'd use these tricks as his personality pattern to win friends or win people over or get attention, but he wasn't a Christian. Then Christians would have labeled him a witch, if they did that with men in certain parts of the world, and burned him at the stake, in a way that, he would seriously be burned. So, it's ridiculous to see this happening thousands of years ago and still today. So here's a little bit of it for you to watch.
If you can walk across the fire. Look.
Now, by the way, here there's a sensationalism happening in these events in front of a group, or should I say a mob, or should I say, cults kind of meeting each other. Because at the beginning of this movie, it says the cult of the pagans, or so it describes the word cult for pagans, who have, I think, multiple gods, or and also, let's say, Christians and Jewish would have the same kind of definition of deities in the sense of their number and, who does what or whatever it is. I believe so. And you can criticize me on this, but again, you'll sound exactly the same. I don't think you realize that for me to not tell the difference easily, it means my mind is not as compromised as yours, and I'm not going to have the same ridiculous battles or debates as you guys. But here, because there's a sensationalism happening, people lose the ability to think critically, whether they're on this side or this side of, let's say, beliefs in the supernatural. Because, for example, the guy might have had a wet robe where it's wetter at the bottom. He might have planned that this is the time he's going to do this, and of course he just kept on walking. Now let's see what happens here, because like a scientific mind would see this is not the exact same situation happening. And of course you need to be able to either not have a great need to reinforce your own beliefs, or be at a time of history where your beliefs are in your own psychohistory, being questioned by yourself and ready for a switch, right? Because the world's going not your way or mad, and it's exactly because of these beliefs that the world's going mad, right? Now, does that sound like it's the exact same event happening with the fire, right?
is this?
Now, in case you didn't know, these exact type of ridiculous events are happening today as much as thousands of years ago. So whatever way you think your supernatural beliefs or religions cultivate you to become better humans in the sense of defining, your behaviors by sentience and sapience, of course you're wrong, right? And these things are happening today even more with children. Children being victims of people that are ridiculous in their abilities to think, even though they essentially live. And in this movie, if you do your research, it may or may not be a time that there was a lot of scrolls, and how many scrolls or who had access to that knowledge or wisdom. But even then, you need to be partaking in debate, in circles of wisdom and discussion and philosophical thought where you question everything. Because one way for me that they're all the same from whatever group of religious beliefs is they choose a certainty in something that no sane person can be certain about, and they choose it early in life, way before they acquire even a tiny bit of wisdom, or they impose it on others. So it's a flaw of thinking, right? So for me, it's the same from every group here, because it's only being a learned person pursuing learning with alongside others who will agree and disagree with you, that a human being can actually, start programming this in human ways with human thinking tools. But it is no more common there than it is now. So it's pretty sad.